Hey everyone, welcome back to the workshop. Artisan Pirate here, and in today's fun scroll saw project video, have an amazing design for Shark Week 2024. Shark Week is fast approaching here in America, and it all begins on July 7th. It's a week of television that I look forward to every year. If you guys are longtime followers, you guys know how excited I am for this week of television. I've already got my Jaws tank top on in anticipation of the week-long event of shark-centric episodes on the Discovery Channel. So really cool. The pattern and design we're going to be using for today's project comes from the latest issue of Scroll Saw Woodworking and Crafts magazine by Fox Chapel Publishing, Summer 2024, issue 95 for those curious. And the pattern and article begins on page 23. Here you see it, and it's actually two designs that are in this article. It says dolphin and shark fretwork, opposites attract in this unlikely pair of sea denizens, by Wayne and Jacob Fowler. So I want to go on and thank them for the amazing design in this magazine. And you can see in the article it looks like they cut one out of thicker material where it can stand of its own accord on a shelf, desk, or countertop, and that's totally an option. But I'm going to go a little bit different route in today's video. The actual pattern for the shark and dolphin follows on the following pages. The shark is on page 24 here, and we will photocopy it to get the design to attach to our material. And for the material, I'm going to be using two pieces of 1/4 inch material. So we're going to stack cut and get two projects for the time it basically takes to cut out one, and we'll finish one in today's video. This right here is the standard 1/4 inch material I've been using for years that I pick up in 4x8 sheets at the big box store. This piece here, however, as well as several others that are laying around the workshop, was given to me by my good buddy Jerry Meismer. You may know him. He turns the wooden cowboy hats. So he gave me this when I went up to visit him, and it is cabinet grade 1/4 inch material, and you can see it already has a nice glossy finish on it. And this is going to be the primary piece we use in today's video. And what I'm going to do when we are prepping for stack cutting is have this as the back piece to protect that glossy sheen that's on there. I don't want to damage that since it's already finished. So we'll cut through the standard 1/4 inch material I use and then have the nicer one in the back. But of course I will finish the other one we cut out again in my leisure. Since all that's left to do is get the pattern photocopied and attached to our material, let's move the camera and do that now. And over here at the printer, we will quickly photocopy the pattern out of the magazine. And once the pattern is printed out, I will cut it out over here at the table saw and begin the final prep work for the two pieces of 1/4 inch material we are going to be using. And it doesn't take long to rip these to their final dimensions. And then we can head over to the workbench and attach the pattern with clear packing tape to the material. And clear packing tape is all I'll be using. But then we will take the Seiko scroller's drill and drill out all of the pilot holes for internal cutting. And you'll see that I have a backer board behind the scroll saw work to prevent blowout of the pilot holes on the reverse side. But then it will be time to head over to the scroll saw, and for all the scrolling on this project I will be using a number 5 Ultra reverse tooth blade, and it will cut through all the material we will scroll today exceptionally well with minimal chip out, which is always good when it comes time for sanding. And I am beginning with some of the smaller details before proceeding to the larger internal cuts. And this project has a lot of tight V points, and you guys know how I achieve as fine a V point as possible by scrolling down one side of the V and then backing it back out and then going down the other side. I can get that V point as nice and fine as I want it. But here is a little closer look of that process, and you can see how I'm cutting out those V points there. And now we are beginning with another internal cut. Again, I begin with the smaller internal cuts and then proceed to the larger cuts themselves. But I am of course taking my time and letting the blade do the work. But now we are doing the final internal cut. And then once we get it done, we can retension the blade and begin to release the shark from the waste wood. And that is just one long cut following that outside perimeter line. If you guys like what you're seeing, I would highly encourage you to subscribe to my channel and also follow me across all my social medias under the Artisan Pirate name. I'd really appreciate the support. And once again, this design comes from an issue of Scroll Saw Woodworking and Crafts magazine by Fox Chapel Publishing, the summer edition for 2024. But now that all the scroll work is done, we can see the two sharks are fully cut out. But I will take a washer and trace around the perimeter to get a perfect backer board here. You guys know I like to use this technique all the time. And then we can head over to the scroll saw and do the final bit of scroll saw work for this project. And I'm still using that same number 5 Ultra Reverse Tooth blade. Again, just taking my time and letting the blade do the work. But now we can head over to sanding, and I will use 180 grit Klingspor Woodworking Shop sandpaper in the vibrating palm sander here, and sand the front and back of the backer board and just the front of that glossy cabinet grade plywood. But we will paint the backer board a nice ocean blue color and let that dry for around an hour, and then it will be time to glue the piece together. And I'll be using medium grade CA glue and activator and spring clamps. And the strip of wood I add here helps add pressure to the center details for them to grab the backer board. But once it dries around 5 minutes, it'll be time to finish it off with several coats of Rust-Oleum clear gloss. And when that dried, the project was complete. And here we have the completed shark fretwork piece, cut out completely from start to finish over on the scroll saw, and it finished up amazingly well, just in time for Shark Week 2024. Really cool. It took me around 30 minutes to scroll this project out completely from start to finish, including the backer board here. It's not a very overly complex design. It's just with the nature of some of the cuts, you need to, of course, take your time and let the blade do the work. Of course, the most tedious cuts on this project is going to be those fine lines of the shark's gills there, and then the fine lines in the fin and tail here. And you guys know how I go about making those tight V cuts over on the scroll saw. What I'll do is go along one side of that V cut, back the scroll saw blade out while the scroll saw is running, and then cut into what will ultimately be waste wood and cut in, and then go along the following line. That way I can taper it down and get as fine of a V point as I possibly can and need, and they all come out nice and crisp for me. Hopefully you guys understand how I explain that, but really cool. I finished this in a standard finishing way, in a tropical way, might I add. I left the cabinet grade plywood we scrolled out the natural color it was, and then I painted the backer board that we used the washer technique to get a perfect one out of a nice navy blue to represent the ocean and everything. And I think the two colors really complement each other, and the Rust-Oleum clear gloss we added at the end really made everything pop. And one thing I noted, that when I applied the clear gloss at the end, this darker shade started coming through around some of the cut lines, and I don't know if that's the layer underneath the finished layer and glossy layer of that cabinet grade plywood, but I really do like it in a project like this, so keep that in mind. I think with that dark texture coming out around the gills and on the shark's fin, it really looks like he is down in the ocean depths, you know, seeking his prey and everything. It might not work out with that darkness coming out if you were cutting out a tedious fretwork design and then you clear coated it and then you had those dark lines around it, but for a project like this, I think it is amazing and really gives it an added characteristic. And keep in mind, because we stack cut this, we have another one of these sharks to finish off camera in my leisure, or I can pass it along to a friend and they can finish it how they see fit to finish it. That is the benefit of stack cutting, my friends. But really cool. All that's left to do now is add a hanger to the back, and this project will be ready to be proudly displayed for Shark Week 2024. Once again, the design comes from the latest issue of Scroll Saw Woodworking and Crafts magazine by Fox Chapel Publishing, Summer 2024, issue 95, and the design and article starts on page 23. There you see it, and the pattern we photocopied is on the following page 24. And I want to once again give a shout out and thanks to Wayne and Jacob Fowler for the amazing design that I interpreted for Shark Week, as we have done here today. And to keep in mind, the one in the magazine was made different from the one I made here today, once again showing off a scroll saw's pattern's amazing versatility. It looks like here they cut it out of thicker, maybe 3/4 inch or 1 inch thick material, to where the shark can easily stand by itself of its own accord on a shelf, desk, or countertop. And I just cut the shark out of 1/4 inch material and added a backer board to it. And one other option, if you're going to go the magazine articles route, and I'll use mine as an illustration here, if you cut it out of that thicker material, of course you wouldn't need a backer board, but what you could do is go in and put colored resin in all of the interior cuts to really elevate a project such as this to that next level. Of course, if you do craft fairs and vendor fairs, that would be a eye-catching design if you put the resin and all in it. So just food for thought there, but really cool. I had a lot of fun in today's video, and I hope you guys like watching me make today's video. I am going to do as my shirt says and live every week like it is Shark Week. You can tell in my voice I am excited for this amazing week of television. I look forward to it every year. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe to it, and also follow me across all my social medias under the Artisan Pirate name. As always, links to contact me as well as all my social medias will always be linked down in the description box below these videos. That's about all for this one, and remember guys, if I can make it or do it, so can you. I'm the Artisan Pirate. Take care, and I'll see you guys real soon.